To talk about feeling a little bit deflated. Tyre imports leaving you very upset because they are getting a bit more expensive. Rubber imported from China now costs all of us around 25% more, and of course we feel that when we want to change our tyres, and then the duties are going to last until March of next year. So Maya Fisher-French joining us this morning. Always good to have Maya with us as we unpack whether it's a case of pump up and pay now or should we wait. So tyre dealers advertising the buy now method, Maya, but of course they want our money.
Absolutely, and Gareth, we see this all the time with anything where we see price increases coming through. Often when there's a rand shock, the rand collapses, we see the retailers coming out saying buy the stock that we have in stock now, because when we have to import again, prices will go up. And of course, it just comes down to the basics of, if you're planning on making a purchase, by all means. But if you're going to rush out and put it on your credit card because you're thinking you're saving money by buying it now and not next year, you're just paying interest, right? You're in the same position. So it doesn't really make any sense at all. But Gareth, the tyres are a little bit different because I don't think tyres falls under my wants list. It's kind of a need. If I need to replace tyres, I need to replace them. So I suppose one has to balance that and say, well, I was going to replace my tyres in the next month or two, so maybe it's a good idea to do it now. But also keep in mind that this import duty only impacts imported tyres, not the local tyres, because that's the whole point of this exercise, was to protect the local industry. So, you can also just sort of shop around. But I think, I think it's just a general thing to not get caught into the FOMO kind of thing of, things are going to get so expensive, buy now, and then you put it on your credit card and, of course, regret it.
Yeah, so while you're busy balancing your tyres, you need to decide if you need to balance your credit card right now. Do you have to do it now as well? It's so funny. I'm fairly certain one day, can someone who's a tech expert tell me, we were talking about tyres off air a couple of days ago, and I've been hammered by tyre adverts on my phones the last few days, doing exactly what you're saying. Buy tyres now before there's a jump in prices, etc. I do need to actually change my tyres, so it might not be a bad idea. So while you're talking about the background to this, Maya, about trying to improve the local market, there's an increase in tariffs on imported rubber for China, of course. Is this fair on customers, though? Is this not what some would say good competitive behavior?
This is a very nuanced debate, and it all depends on which side you're on, right? So this is, do we protect jobs or do we protect the pockets of consumers? I don't know if you remember, we had that whole furore over chicken imported duties on chicken, which is really going to hurt consumers, because people, to what extent can the local market meet the demand? And if it can't, then people are going to have to buy the imported goods with that additional tariff. So it's not, all it's doing is making things more expensive for consumers. So one has to look at this, and I have seen comments coming out of the tyre industry saying, it's difficult for the current producers locally to meet the full demand, which means people will have to buy the imported. There won't be sufficient stock of local. This will increase costs, and as we know right now, costs are not something we can take any more of, especially with transport costs as they are. Adding to that, tyres add to transport costs. So this is a bit of a nuanced debate, and to me, I think if I was looking at import duties, I would think, well, maybe luxury goods, you could have a debate, but when it's a necessity like chicken or tyres, you could really, really hurt consumers. So it is that constant debate between jobs and consumers, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose it's always going to be that ongoing debate in our country. When the rand hits the rubber on the road, is our Maya Fisher-French making sense of all of it. So as she says, if you need to buy tyres, go and do it now. But for heaven's sakes, please don't go and do it, because as she says, you're not going to save money in the long term. Put it on your credit card. You're going to pay for that later. Maya, always good to talk to you. Appreciate it here on the South African Morning. All right.